there's been lots of conversations and lots of discussions all around what cause and purpose marketing is. But I thought the best place to start would be to get an expert such as yourself to give us what you actually think cause marketing is and what it should stand for.
Ultimately, I think there's just been a recognition that, increasingly businesses have known that they've needed to show intentions beyond profit, right? So increasingly they've known that they had to care about more than just profit, and then be able to articulate that to their audiences. The way that's been taken on, my honest answer would be the way that's been taken on has been variable depending on the brands, right? There was a move towards brands realizing that if they demonstrated they cared about more than just money, if they were more than just profit, that they would be able to engage with customers. And ultimately that's what employees want, right? They want to know what you stand for. So increasingly we were seeing more and more brands marketing themselves, in and around kind of particular cause areas, right? So you might see around the in and around the sort of pandemic period, you saw increasing number of organizations talking about mental health and so on. So at its base root, it's about telling people what you care about, beyond just your product and your brand. Done well, it links and makes a clear link with your brand as well, right? I've worked both sides, right? I've worked the marketeer side and the cause side. I think increasingly kind of where my frustrations lay was that brands were still thinking about it as an isolated marketing campaign, right? And then they were thinking, well, what's the appropriate charity brand that I can bolt onto this to give this credibility? And I saw that time and time again. That increasingly became frustrating for us, because what I knew marketeers need was credibility, yes, but also insight, right? They wanted to, and I saw time and time again, I'd see sort of marketeers trying to understand a particular cause area, but they'd go off and do that work. Then they'd bolt on a particular brand that they felt was kind of right to partner with on a particular campaign. So they were thinking about them as isolated campaigns, and then the cause or the charity was thought about as something that came later. The brands that are doing really interesting stuff are the ones I think that are tapping into the expertise of those charities as early as possible, right? And then using that kind of investigation and those kind of conversations to inform the way they talk about, the way they try and advance those cause areas. How do they circumvent the kind of greenwashing claims, right? Yeah. I think the answer is, because we've been doing a lot of investigating for them, I think the answer is showing an authentic desire to do something, engaging with the right people in the right way, right? So we're engaging with a number of other brands who are working in that area to understand genuinely where the need is. There is now a far deeper engagement with I would say, with the way you market yourselves, the way you market your purpose, the way you market what you do with causes. So there is a wariness and a skepticism that's creeped in. And so if you want to avoid greenwashing or purpose washing or any of that, you need to authentically know when you've got expertise and when you don't. And when you don't, you need to partner up with people that do. Influence is a key component of impact, and you can't influence without telling your story. But I think there's some hesitancy there for sure. What really excites me is the kind of the real convening power. So one brand I'm working with at the moment, has huge brand weight and reach. And when I think about the convening power of that brand, how that the ability of that brand to be able to get people to listen and trust is really exciting, and reach all sorts of different audiences. There was a couple of things that excited us. One of them is very often we see there is a disparity in the non-profit sector, right? And so when brands are looking to partner with non-profits, more often than not, a lot of that attention is given to, you know, a sort of particular you know, selection of non-profit brands. So we were really excited at the opportunity to surface some of the innovation that's happening, you know, with non-profits that perhaps just don't get the exposure that they deserve, right? Yeah, that really excited us.